Alright guys, I'm back with another battle report. This time I've got a special one for you. Sorry for the wait, I know it's been like 9 months or something, but I've got a special treat for you tonight. I've got a battle report between Necrons and Blood Angels the night before they get their new codex. So this should be pretty interesting. And instead of doing a normal battle, we're going to be doing an apocalypse battle, 5,500 points per side. So a couple of things real quick. We went ahead and deployed everything and then just rolled off for first turn instead of doing the bidding and all that stuff. We're just trying to make things go a little quicker. And also, phase out is gone as of tomorrow, so we are phasing that out of her army as well, so we're not going to have to worry about that tonight. So let's start to go over what we've got. This is the Necron deployment. Just tons and tons of warriors, as you can see. Down here we've got some flayed ones. We're actually using Lord of the Rings ring wraiths as flayed ones. We actually don't like the flayed one model currently. I actually don't like the new one either. But we really liked the Nightbringer and the way that model looked, so we went with kind of like a wraith theme for the army, so our flayed ones are ring wraiths. We're using the Deceiver too. It's all the way over there. I'll show you that in a minute. It's actually going to be Sauron the Necromancer from Lord of the Rings as well. But anyways, we got a Monolith, a couple of actual Wraith units, Tomb Spider, Scarabs attached to a Destroyer Lord, Heavy Destroyers, another Tomb Spider, some warriors back here holding an objective. We've got Mortals in the first and second floor of that building. Lots of warriors everywhere, destroyers, couple units, some more Immortals hiding behind this monolith. Lots more warriors, and then over here in the corner we've got Sauron the Necromancer with another unit of flayed ones. And that is the Necron deployment. And then on the other side of the table we've got the Blood Angel deployment. So we've got a Ball Predator, 2 Landspeeder Typhoons with Multi-Meltas. Currently the Typhoons on that one have broken off, so I'm in the middle of repairing it. Bike unit, Death Company with Lemartes, 2 Power Fists. 2 Land Raider Crusaders with Assault Squads and Sank Priests inside. We've got Mephiston right there. 2 Stormravens with Terminators, Chaplains, and Sank Priests inside both of those. And those are the only units in the army that actually roll Red Thirst, so it's kind of redundant because their Sank Priests already with them. But anyways, got a Devastator squad with 4 missile launchers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Razorbacks with Las Cannon, Twin Link Plasma Gun. Yes, I am proxying. I haven't gotten around to building those yet. I've got 2 Vindicators and another Ball Predator over there on the side. And so that's 3 Ball Predators, 1 on each flank, and then 1 in the middle. And that's my 5,500. Over here is what's inside all those transports. Terminators and the Dreadnoughts. Yeah, the Stormravens have a Dreadnought in each one. The Assault Squads and the Razorback Squads. And I'll get back to you after the Blood Angels go. Alright, here we are at the end of Blood Angels turn 1. Had a lot of stuff move up, obviously. Tried taking some pot shots over here at the Nightbringer. Had no effect. Both of these Vindicators bombarded this Necron unit over here, the Warriors, and took out a whole bunch of them. All 5 of my Razorbacks fired their Las Cannon. Remember, they were Las Cannon Twin Link Plasma Gun turrets. So they fired their non-twin linked Las Cannon shot at that monolith and did absolutely nothing. This Land Raider right here fired its twin linked assault cannon at those destroyers and did nothing. This Ball Predator did the same and did nothing. This Land Raider Crusader fired its twin linked assault cannon at the Tomb Spider and did nothing. The missile launchers over here fired at the destroyers, and that's what knocked those two down. And on a side note, Amy, my wife, has notified me that she took reanimation scarabs, and so that's the unit that's going to get the 2+, will be back, and act as if they had a resorb within range, which they do anyways because of that lord. But they're going to get that 2+, will be back roll here at the beginning of her turn. For more shooting, excuse me, I do have a cold, so sorry for the sniffle. Continuing shooting, this Stormraven fired its twin-linked multi-multi at the Tomb Spider and put a wound on it. That Stormraven fired its twin-linked multi-multi at the Deceiver and put a wound on it. These bikes fired at the Pariahs and did absolutely nothing through some bad rolling. Those two speeders fired Cyclone missiles at the Deceiver and did nothing, while Predator also fired at it and did nothing as well. So, unfortunately, I didn't really do a whole heck of a lot in the shooting phase, but all the casualties you see are from Assault, which is next. The Mephiston hopped over here and fleeted towards the Necrons. I believe I killed 4 or 5 with the Vindicators, which was pretty bad. I rolled really bad. Anyways, he fleeted so that he could get into Assault. And the unit that was in there actually had enough range to be able to get some warriors still, so I charged in with them first and then charged with Mephiston and wiped the unit as they failed their leadership test because I didn't even kill them all. I rolled terribly again. But I did wipe them out after catching them. And then over here, I did an assault with the Assault Squad because the Death Company was going to wipe that unit anyways, which they did. I did something like 16 armor save, like normal armor save wounds, and then 6 power weapon wounds or something ridiculous, and then that's including Lemartes, who is insanely initiative 7 on the charge. And so I figured I wouldn't bother assaulting with that Assault Squad because Death Company is going to wipe that unit anyways, and they're just going to be sitting around, except they'll be closer. So that is the end of my first turn. I have done a ton of damage to her warriors, which doesn't matter because she's not going to phase out. Both monoliths are fully active, so it's about to be her turn, and she's going to roll. We'll be back for those 2 destroyers, and I'll catch you at the end of the Necron turn 1. Alright, here we are at the end of the Necron's first turn. This is the casualties I've taken in this turn. Most of my Death Company and a Marine, though I've also lost this Ball Predator. Okay, so in her shooting phase, it was actually pretty epic. She fired these 30 warriors, because out of the squads that I had down from combat, most of them got back up. Actually, it was 15 out of 31 got back up and joined that unit. And with the reconstruction scarabs rolls on those destroyers, they both got back up, but that's only because she had just barely rolled 2 2s. Most other shooting, this became immobilized, this Vindicator, this Predator was shaken, and this Night Raider was shaken as well, and that was it for her shooting. So her assault, the Lord assaulted the Vindicator here, and did nothing, and the Scarabs weren't in range. The Nightbringer found it wasn't in range of the Ball Predator, but the Raids took care of it pretty easy. To hit on 4s with their strength 6, and that's against rear armor. All of those warriors, plus that unit of destroyers, plus that unit of destroyers, plus those immortals, fired at this assault squad that had hopped out of that Land Raider Crusader, and killed 1 guy. That Sanguinary Priest right there is going to be a Sanguinary High Priest when this game is done. Let's see, other assaults. She assaulted my Death Company with the Pariahs and the Raids and killed a crap ton of them, but in the process put a wound on Lemartes, who's now Strength 5 with 5 base attacks. Unfortunately, that's a losing combat, so we'll see what I'm going to have to do about that in my next turn. And the Deceiver and all the flayed ones that were in the woods assaulted my Stormraven and whiffed because it had turbo boosted, as well as this one. And that is the end of the... Oh wait, actually no, I have to point out one more thing. This monolith did its Gauss Flux arc, and holy crap, It basically did something like 30 attacks on all the units that were around it. It was pretty ridiculous. In fact, that might have been what most of the shooting damage was from, the shaken, immobilized, all that stuff. So, we'll see you at the end of Blood Angel's turn 2. Alright guys, thought I'd just interrupt real quick with a little update. I had Mephiston charge the Nightbringer after hopping all the way over here to about this part of the table. It was 12 inches and I was in the middle of Lord, bunch of Scarabs, which you'll see what happened in a minute. The ring wraiths over here, excuse me, flayed ones, they're ring wraith models, leave me alone. Anyways, Mephiston charged the Nightbringer, and since his first psychic power was to fly all the way over here, that's 1 of 3. His second psychic power was to make himself strength 10, not to give himself rerolls. And in combat, he rolled to hit, got 5 out of 6 hits, rolled to wound, got 3 wounds, the Nightbringer failed 2, force weapon, instant death the Nightbringer. And now it's about to do a 4-inch strength 6 no armor save explosion. We're going to resolve that and then we're going to finish up the turn, but I just thought I'd let you know that Mephiston acted like a boss right there. Alright, so I had a pretty eventful Blood Angel's turn 2. Over here, I already explained what had happened with Mephiston. He jumped all the way over here, assaulted the Nightbringer, and won. When the Nightbringer exploded, it does a D6-inch strength 6 ignores armor explosion, and it killed the 3 out of the 5 flayed ones that were left. And since there's no Resorb around, they were straight up dead. Those 2 flayed ones were shot by the Land Raider, so they will be able to get back up because there's a Tomb Spider right there, and there's a flayed one on the other side of the table. Continuing on, this Vindicator shot at the Scarabs and the Lord that were right here. He killed a few of them, and by the way, when Mephiston killed that Nightbringer in Assault, the explosion happened to reach the Vindicator and glanced it and made it shaken. So in the shooting phase, this Vindicator had shot the Scarabs and blown up a bunch. And then between that and all 5 of my Las-Plaz Razorbacks that scooted over, I finished off the unit. I finished off the unit after they shot at them. Combined fire, Las, Twin Link Plaz, rapid firing and whatnot, when I could. Let's see, over here, that unit charged the Monolith for the lulls, because right now I didn't really have a target, and I moved the Land Raider up to sort of block line of fire from all of that. It fired at the Tomb Spider and did nothing. Actually, I think I put a wound on it. This Ball Predator was glanced last turn. That assault squad that was over here earlier charged into these warriors that had rapid fired it. After this Vindicator blew up half the unit, they charged in and killed. Oh, it didn't blow up half the unit, it killed half the warriors in that dead pile. And then the squad killed the other warriors that are in that dead pile. And I ended up winning combat by a lot, but she made her morale save of a 4, because I won by 6. So they stayed instead of getting wiped out, which is pretty amazing because that kept that entire warrior unit on the table. And then over here, the Stormraven had moved flat out from over here, and along the way I decided to be ballsy and drop off my Dreadnought right there in that blank space, and unfortunately he tucked and rolled too far and rolled right off the freaking table. The Stormraven shot at one of the destroyers, I think, and did nothing. Over here, I had my entire flank focus on the Deceiver. You'll see my Dreadnought is facing backwards, it hopped out. I had him charge the flayed ones. But everything shot at the Deceiver and put 2 wounds on it. It already had 2 on it, so now it's got 1 wound left. And then again in Assault, the Dreadnought charged the flayed ones and killed 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, they had disruption fields, and they're both initiative 4, because there's no Sang Priest over there. So the Dreadnought went at the same time as the Flayed Ones and got glanced and was immobilized and lost one of its arms, which was crazy. And in this combat, Lemartes hung on like a champ. He killed one pariah, but the other Death Company member died, so that was a draw. And that was the end of Blood Angel's turn 2. Alright, here we are at the end of Necron turn 2. Let's see. For movement, things sort of huddled around back there. Nothing really crazy. Some room was made over here. Shooting, those 3 heavy destroyers fired their las cannon-like weapons at Mephiston. All 3 hit, all 3 wounded, and he took 3 to the face. So that kind of sucked. There was some more random shooting at vehicles, but it was very successful random shooting. Again, the Monolith used its Gauss Flux Arc and caused havoc. So combined shooting results were this Land Raider was stunned, this Vindicator was weapon destroyed, this Razorback was weapon destroyed, and immobilized, so it is a box of guys. That Ball Predator was immobilized and stunned. A little redundant, but it can't shoot and can't move. Other shooting, my Stormraven got focused fired on by, 9 destroyers and all those immortals, and then assaulted, and it was only shaken after all that. I think that was the end of shooting, so assaults. Unfortunately, the squad that was in combat there lost and broke. They caused casualties. As you can see, there's one there. But they broke. I rolled really crappy, so they're falling back. They're within 6 of the monoliths, so they're not going to regroup. They're going to keep running until they fall back here, of which there's raids to help escort them off the board. Let's see, more assault stuff. Again, the Stormraven, obviously, I already said that, got assaulted, nothing happened. Over here, however, the Deceiver charged my bikes and killed 2 of them, and I did nothing back, but they passed their leadership test. The Flayed Ones that were over here got back up over here, joined this unit, assaulted the Dreadnought, continued to assault it, but both sides whiffed. And over here, Lemartes did absolutely nothing. Or actually, no, he killed 1 pariah and then he got picked up. And then the Tomb Spider assaulted my Land Raider and blew it up, but also took a wound in the process, and also killed that Wraith. So that is basically the end of Necron turn 2. Alright, here we are at the end of Blood Angel's turn 3. This was a pretty crazy turn, a lot happened. So for my movement, I shot one of my Razorbacks over here towards that objective. I moved that Razorback up to try to get some midfield range on things. Scooted these Razorbacks over here to try to help with the raids that were beating my vehicles to death. These guys fell back in the movement phase. They were just chilling out in the middle near the monolith, and they were very scared of it and ran off. I also turbo boosted both my Storm Ravens. Actually, they moved 12, I'm sorry, they did not turbo boost. They moved over here, dropped off their cargo, and I'll get to that in a minute. Over here I positioned around a little bit with my vehicles to try to get some shots off on the 3 rays that were there and the pariah. And then in the shooting phase, let's see, my Storm Ravens didn't really do a whole lot. Their weapons basically missed or didn't wound. I did knock down the last pariah, and since they're not Necrons, they don't have will be back, so they were dead. The Wraiths were knocked down to one left. This squad ran back and spread out a little bit. I had moved them away from contact with the Monolith because I realized that putting a Power Fist on the Monolith was a bit silly because it's only going to glance it. You can't glance a Monolith to death because it's immune to glancing, basically. So now we're in Assault. I my bikes were wiped by the Deceiver, and it consolidated towards my Ball Predator, so that's bad news. The flayed ones ripped another arm off my Dreadnought, and I continued to whiff with my one attack. When you start a turn immobilized, you lose an attack, and when you start a turn with a weapon destroyed, well, if you have a weapon destroyed at all, you lose another attack. So my Dreadnought was throwing one attack, and I've been throwing ones all game. My guys that had hopped out of the Stormravens, they're Terminator units. They assaulted Immortals that were over there, and 2 Destroyer units that were over there. I also linked that to the Warrior combat that Mephiston joined in. So that was a 3-unit combat there, and then those Terminators were fighting off some Immortals that tried to assault my Stormraven the last turn. And I wiped all of the units, everything. The Immortals, both Destroyer units and the Immortals, including the Lord that was attached to those Immortals. Mephiston, who was actually over here, consolidated into cover underneath the floors, hoping the Immortals won't have line of sight to him. He's going to have to deal with that Tomb Spider, but that's a piece of cake, because he goes first. And then we'll see about making it over here to that objective later on. In the meantime, I just consolidated around with them a little bit. In shooting, which I forgot to mention, they hopped out and tried to shoot the raids, and they knocked those ones down. Nothing I can do about that, but I had 2 squads just sitting out in the open. They were going to try to kill some raids, but I already did it with shooting, so I imagine these raids are just going to hop over here and try to attack that unit, stall them out, just keep them away from that objective. And that was basically the end of my turn. Blood Angel's turn 3, and so it's about to be the end of Necron turn 3 when we see you next. Alright, here we are at the end of Necron turn 3. Not a whole lot of movement going on. The heavy destroyers moved over there. Wraiths shuffled around over here. The Deceiver moved over there. The reason I'm being... Oh, these Wraiths moved up a bit and assaulted this Predator. I'm just generalizing because there really wasn't a whole lot of movement, but there was a lot of shooting and assault. So for the shooting phase, those 3 heavy destroyers shot Mephiston in the face while he was hiding in that building, and he died. Let's see. Continued shooting. This monolith has been a champion all game using its Cost Flux arc, and has shaken, stunned, broken weapons off of all sorts of stuff. This is stunned, as Stormraven is shaken. It had done stuff to this Ball Predator before it got destroyed. I mean, just tons of stuff. It's been pretty crazy. Other shooting, I don't think there really was any, so... actually, these Immortals shot the Terminators, but again, nothing happened. They saved 2+ armor, they have field on pain. So, in Assault, the Wraiths over here moved around back, assaulted my squad and this Razorback, whiffed on the Razorback, whiffed on the squad, and my squad killed 2 out of the 3 that were there, and they fell back. They lost combat and fell back. I couldn't catch them, they're too fast. These 2 raids are just floating along with it per the rules, so as you can see, it's got the fallback marker. It's going to continue to fall back because that's alive, that's alive, that's alive. So it's just going to be escorted halfway through the table. So this objective is basically mine. Now there's no enemy units within 6 inches. That's actually, might look like weird on the camera, but that's actually like 8 inches to 10 even, so that's not, they're going to automatically regroup there and be able to move 3. And then on my turn, you know, these guys are going to assault, shoot that Wraith, and hopefully wipe it. But other assaults, Deceiver over there assaulted the Ball Predator and cratered it. There's tons of whiff fest stuff going on over there. Everybody's missing. And that was it for assault. So it's about to be Blood Angel's turn 4. Here we are at the end of Blood Angel's turn 4. Let's see. So movement. I had one of my Stormravens flat out behind there where the objective is, or one of the objectives are. This Stormraven just sort of rotated, moved an inch, and got ready to shoot at the monolith. I had both of the skimmers and this Razorback surround the Deceiver. Didn't really move that squad much, but moved this Razor back up. That was about all of my movement. Rotated the Land Raider around a little bit. For shooting, I shot the Wraiths to death here, wiped the unit, because they went within 12 of another Wraith unit. Shot the Wraith there, did nothing to it. Shot the Deceiver off the table. I continued to waste multiple turns on that monolith. Multiple turns of shooting. I've rolled 5 1s twice this game so far, for different reasons. All sorts of crazy stuff has come up. Let's see. Yeah, my las cannons on all my Razorbacks have missed for 2 whole turns out of the 4 turns we've played so far. It's pretty crazy. On a side note, I did have to mention that in 5th edition, obviously only troops can score objectives, and Apocalypse was written in 4th, but we went ahead and used that rule for our Apocalypse game. Only troops can score objectives, which is why we're frantically trying to get troops on objectives here towards the end. But anyways, assaults, obviously that was a huge whiff fest again. This squad assaulted the Wraith and wiped it, so that now the only thing that's left on the board of Necrons, which I have reached their phase out number, but again, we're not playing with that. Only thing they have left are those 3 flayed ones, the 2 monoliths, which have been amazing, so I'm still scared. The Immortals with the Lord hiding right there on that shelf, the Warriors back there, Tomb Spider, and Heavy Destroyers, which I did shoot down one with the Stormraven, and it didn't have Will Be Back or anything like that because it wasn't within range of anything. But that's the end of the Blood Angels turn 4, so now we're going up to Necrons. Alright, here we are at the end of Necron turn 4. See, this monolith moved up to contest this objective, that monolith moved up to contest that objective, or stayed contesting that objective, whatever. The Immortals did difficult terrain to try to get down and shoot the Terminators. Unfortunately, they rolled exactly 3, so they just shuffled around, and they still had shots. The 2 Heavy Destroyers fired at the Stormraven and did nothing. The Warriors rapid fired the Stormraven and did nothing. They were hoping for the Gauss glancing, of course, which has been pretty devastating so far around the rest of the board. This used its Gauss Flux arc and actually didn't do anything. This tried to pie plate this squad, but because I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 guys touching that crater, that counts as being in cover. And I had 4 guys out, so half in is 50% in area terrain. Because it's a crater, so they get 4+ cover. I went to ground, which is that marker, so they had a 3+ cover save. I saved 2, and they're still good to go. And yes, models that have gone to ground count as scoring an objective. So over there, I'm almost going to stop covering it. It's been nothing but whiff after whiff after whiff. I mean, they've been ripping arms off my Dreadnought, but since then, nothing's happened. So, basically, that is the end of the Necron 4th turn, and I'm going to see what I can do here in my 5th turn to try to wrap things up real quick. Alright, here we are after Blood Angels turn 5. Didn't really have a whole lot of movement. Stormraven stayed there, Terminators ran around, Land Raider moved up, this moved up, grabbed an objective because there's still guys inside. They moved up and tried to prevent the monolith from moving forward to grab that objective. Stormraven rotated, vehicles moved up to try to take pot shots at the monolith. Devastators all game, plunking away at whatever they can. Shooting phase, yes, I punked the monolith, I finally wrecked it. Actually, no, that wasn't from shooting, I lied, sorry, that was from assault. The beautiful Thunderhammers at strength 9 with Furious Charge, that's what did it. Shooting was as useless as ever. Over here, same thing. I mean, I know it's strength 8 and would only glance, but it's AP 1, so it would be a net -1 on the chart, which means I could still mobilize it or even wreck it. So I shot at it, unfortunately I did nothing. It is 1 multi-shot anyway, so I wouldn't have done anything. Over here, fired the Land Raider at the Immortal unit and knocked down 5 of them, which is crazy because I haven't done that to anything with the Land Raider in this game yet. Continued to fire las cannons all over the place, and like I said, it did nothing. And then an assault. These Terminators here assaulted the warriors and wiped all but 2. They fell back, and there they are. And that consolidated a bit. So they're going to continue to fall back because they're going to be escorted off the table. Over there, like I said, I assaulted the monolith, killed the crap out of it, and that was awesome. The Stormraven popped smoke in the movement phase so that it could still contest that objective, but now I've got Terminators over there. And that is the end of Blood Angel's turn 5. Alright, actually the Necrons are going to go ahead and actually phase out. Basically, we're calling the game here. I've basically got one objective there because there's troops in that Razorback. One objective here because there's nothing around that's going to be able to take me off of that. This objective is contested, but I hold that one, and I can move this vehicle's full of dudes, so I can hop them into this one and drive that over there. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives, and this one's contested. If the monolith moves over this way, then I'll hold that one, so it's the same either way. That objective can't be claimed because she no longer will have troops at the beginning of her turn, because those 2 warriors will run off the table, because I'm within 6 inches with the Stormraven and the Terminators. So like I said, we're calling it here. Blood Angels win this Apocalypse battle 4-0. But we are going to have a special rematch tomorrow, or is it today? I can't tell, it's late enough, with the brand new codex. We're not going to have any of the new models quite yet, but we're going to try to use what we have currently with the new rules just to see how the older stuff holds up. And I will be posting that within the next couple days as well. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry I'm a little monotone and quiet, but I'm still working on that. And till next time. I also forgot to mention that I had the Orbital Bombardment strategic asset, in case you guys were wondering. As I said, Amy had the Reconstruction Scarabs out of Apocalypse Reload, and it helped her get up a lot of units in this game. I know I didn't cover it as much, but it was fairly helpful here and there. Unfortunately, the way We'll Be Back is written in the old book, which now technically it's the old book, because as I'm filming this part of this battle report, it is now Saturday. Anyways, as far as We'll Be Back was written in the old book, when a unit dies and it goes to rejoin a new unit, that old unit can't go with the new unit through a monolith to reroll We'll Be Back, and then she was going to have a 2+ on that. It's really convoluted. Overall, basically, it did help her out in a lot of spots, but again, it's the limitations of the codex that kind of hurt her on that. Like I said, I had Orbital Bombardment, and I completely forgot to use it every single turn. The second I made it her turn, I remember every time, so that was awesome, but it's okay, no complaints. I did alright. And that's it. So stick around. Like I said, the rematch battle report with the new book is coming out, and we'll see what kind of Matt Ward craziness is in that. Talk to you guys later.